case, we looked at the Porter's five forces and looking at how it would go into the Macy's world and with them. So looking at their Porter's five forces for bargaining power of suppliers, I said the level of threat was moderate. Now the reason I said this was moderate is because it could be high or moderate with this, because obviously in this industry there's lots of suppliers out there, so it's not more of the or it's not a problem for Macy's to worry about, oh, I only have one supplier, I better treat them right, where they can go and find someone else to supply them when they need it. So that's why it was more moderate, but also the reason why it could be high and it's moderate, it's not low, is because with a lot of these stores or this industry, a lot of their suppliers are overseas, so causes problems when the suppliers overseas, maybe they have something going on in their economy that we don't, or they have a political problem, or when we saw with the pandemic and COVID-19, that created a huge problem in the supply chain. So obviously, that can be a problem when there is medical problems or global problems going on. It can affect the whole supply chain. For the next one, bargaining power of buyers, which would be like the retail consumers. I said this was high because obviously the consumers control the market. If you don't have consumers and you don't buy, you're not going to make it. Your business will fail and die because you need consumers to stay in business. But the reason that is, especially now recently with so many more options out there for consumers, they can buy at the touch of their fingertips. This allows them to have more say. Where in the old days or in the past, there's only certain stores you could go to buy the things you needed. But now you can buy them anywhere, from anywhere, too. So this has given them more power. If you got cheaper products at this other store that are just as good, they're going to go there. Consumers are now letting products be a little bit not as materialistically good, I guess, or the products aren't as good as they used to be because they're looking for more deals. Consumers are deal-oriented now, looking to find ways where they can save the most money, where they can get the best deal. So this has caused a rise in online shopping, discount store shopping, waiting for clearance items and stuff like that, allowing consumers to kind of dictate what products they'll buy and where they'll buy from, giving them a very high power or level of their bargaining power. For the next Porter 5 Force, the third one, industry rivalries, or people that are just the rivalries and competition in there. The ones that we were doing were Amazon, TJ Maxx, JCPenney, Kohl's, and other retail stores like that. And this one is also high because this market has such a high competition, and with recent years too, it's changed into more of an online dominated market. At the end of the day, malls are dying down. Retail stores and in-person shopping has died down drastically. So much less foot traffic, everything is going online, which has given a rise to companies like Amazon, especially Amazon. They are by far, this whole thing of rivalry or competitors could just be on Amazon because they are that strong and that big, allowing them to very well have a huge say in the market for a store that just does everything. So I think this is a huge factor, just kind of like consumers. This is very big because obviously for consumers, or your rivalries or your competitors are beating you, you are going to lose and consumers go to them. And that's what the online shopping has done for Amazon, because now the consumers don't have to go to the store. They can buy anywhere at any time, and it gets delivered really fast, and it's usually a little bit cheaper. So obviously they have to be able to compete with their customers, or consumers to give their customers a shot, and that's why it's a high threat, because if they don't, they will be out of business. The next one was the new entrants, or new people coming in. I said this one was relatively low, just because, one, Macy's is a store that's been around forever. It's a household name. People know about Macy's, so they don't have to worry so much about someone coming in and stealing their spot just because they are so much bigger than most people already and they've been there for a while. Consumers know what they're going to get when they go to Macy's. They're not going there because they want to try something new. They know what they're going to get. They're going to get a good luxurious product for a fair price and stuff like that. And also with the market already, or this industry and the market being so strong in competition, it would be very hard for a store to come in and start taking away consumers and making a difference and having a say in the market share. I just think it's more of a low threat. It's not very common that that would happen or concerning for them. And then threat of the last one, which would be the threat of substitute products, which are like specialty retailers and online retailers. Obviously, we know online is huge. That's why I said this was moderate, because the online world is massive. It's been taken over in the whole industry of retail and many other in-person shopping stores. So that's a huge threat, huge power there. And specialty retailers as well, I think, if people are focusing more on, luxurious item and stuff like that, or certain clothing lines and stuff along those lines, it could be a threat for sure, but obviously the major threat in this and the major bargaining level would be the online play, because online has given consumers much more power and free will to shop when and where they want and how they want. For the next one is the SWOT analysis on Macy's. Macy's, obviously, we said the company's been around for a long time, very good. So we went through the SWOT analysis to just see how they've been doing. Obviously, we're going to cover the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Starting off with the strengths of Macy's. They're a strong brand. Obviously, they've been around for a long time. They're a household name. People know who they are. Who they are. People know Macy's. It's not like, oh, what's that company? I've never. Oh, do you like it there? No. Usually, most people have been there. They know what they're going to get, and they'll most likely continue going there as long as they stay in business and stay up to date with everything. But they have a reputation, and a good one, I would say. Very effective marketing. Obviously, they have the Macy's Thanksgiving parade, and they do stuff with the Super Bowl and things like that. So their marketing campaigns and stuff are very good. Another thing they do well, another strength, is good customer relationship management. Very good customer service. They have one of actually the top rated ones, and people, if they have a complaint, they usually get it fixed and they feel good about it. It's not like, oh, this is such a burden, or that was really hard. And they have a wide variety of products, from clothes to household items, and different sets of clothes from like all clothing products and household products. Their weaknesses: failed expansion. They've tried to expand and it did not go well. Poor management. Obviously, there's been a reoccurring event of new CEOs. We know we're doing this case on them. They've tanked recently in the sense of they're not making money, losing money. They have a low presence, actually, like around the world, globally, which means they have a high dependence on the United States market, which that can cause you problems, because if the U.S. market is not doing well, it will mean that your whole company's not doing well. And the low presence as well, with closing stores and not many stores around the world or around the country. Even our country, the United States, but even just around the world in general, they might only have one or two stores in each state right now. So they need to be able to get more of that. That's a weakness of theirs, not having a lot of hold in certain areas or a lot of stores out there. Opportunities for Macy's. E-commerce, online shopping is huge, as we've mentioned. It's a place where they can grow. Focus on emerging markets. Asia is a big place for them. Obviously, in the case, it talks about how China has grown for them a lot, and the Asian markets are always huge in general, just because they sometimes don't have these stores that are more, I guess, westerny. So growing out there and just growing all over the world, maybe focusing a little bit more in Europe or in the Middle East as well. They tried to go out to Dubai and it didn't work out, so maybe revamping that and doing that again. Even though they do have a wide variety of products, an opportunity for them would be diversifying products more, getting into different stuff so they're not so single-oriented on the household items, which then, obviously, if there's a supply chain issue in household items, their whole line of stuff is destroyed and they're going to be losing money, where if they can diversify and get into different markets and industries, it can allow them to make revenue while maybe one part of their business is not making profits at the time because it's just changing. So maybe getting into food products or stuff like that to allow more streams of revenue to come in and not from the same industry. Stronger global presence, as we said, focusing on those emerging markets and focusing on spreading out more. Threats for Macy's include global recession and the pandemic. As we saw with the pandemic, a lot of the problems, but obviously now they say there's going to be a recession coming soon, so that will create more supply chain issues, less people shopping, and things like that. Declining industry, as mentioned before. People aren't going to retail stores anymore. People aren't shopping in malls as much as they used to. Foot traffic has declined. Strong competition, as we mentioned, Amazon's been growing, but there's also other companies like TJ Maxx, JCPenney, Nordstrom Rack, other retailers that are strong. So the competition is very stiff in this industry, and it's really hard to always stay ahead of your competitors. And lastly, increased online shopping, which means they're losing their foot traffic, which can cost them to lose sales because, oh, I'm going to go online shop. Sometimes people don't always think of shopping at Macy's. Yes, they do shop on their stores, but they can have other competitors on the online world like Amazon and other parties where people can go there because it's cheaper. Now, going to the next one, the pros and cons list of their strategy. So I think the strategy was pretty good. Obviously, it had the good cutting cost thing. It had a revitalization, rebranding, getting new images out there, and then a plan to move forward. And some of the pros of it, I think, by cutting the stores and closing them down, they talked about closing, I think it was 100 stores or 150 stores. This allows them to save more money and cut down on overhead, which obviously with the market of, the online world, I keep mentioning online world, but when you have less stores in person because you're not getting anything from them because you're losing money because people aren't coming in, you can cut down and still keep the stores that are making you money. This allows you to cut down on your overhead and extra expenses you don't need. So I think that was a very good pro of their cutting down process. Also being innovative, changing their brand, obviously going with the times. That was another one, changing with the times for the consumer. They're trying to help the consumer out. Now they're not changing against, they're doing something completely different. They're trying to follow consumer patterns and go with them with the revitalization. So that was another pro. Another pro was reaching more people, trying to get connection via internet and across the world, connecting with more consumers, getting them more of their things that they want and doing the things they need. Lastly was less dependence on one market. It talked about global expansion and getting out there, and also maybe adding product lines and diversifying more. So that was really good instead of just depending on the United States market and that single household products. For some of the cons, obviously cutting your stores down is not very good. It's not a good look in the news, and it's not a good look for stockholders. So cutting stores down and losing employees, it's not very good for the company in general. Obviously, it'll help you cut cost, but it shows that you're hurting. Already low on funds and already having really bad years, having afraid possibly being bought out because of cutting stores and declining. Changing your image can be tough too. Obviously, it's good if you can do it the right way, but you might be changing the image that people have of your brand, so you don't want to get too far away from what people know you as. So you got to be careful with the revitalization, so that could be a con. Then for the last con, even with the cutting stores, there's still much more things need to be done for cutting price-wise. That's not going to fix all your problems, so you're going to have to find a way to do better. Focus, I think they just got to focus on, obviously, expanding, trying to make profits, do better. I really like the cutting costs idea. That was really good. They could do a couple more things, I believe, with having more in-store things, allow customers come shopping and have them create that need to get in the store instead of just being okay with the online version. Key characteristics, obviously the cutting cost is a huge part of a key characteristic in the thing. Having a plan, action plan with that, following what you need to be doing, arranging some short-term funds so you can still make money, control the situations. You have to be able to physically control the problem you have. Do that, and I think this will all help. At the end of the day, this seems like a really good plan. I'm excited to look up some more stuff about Macy since this case was a little bit older, but I think if they do the things that they have in this plan and they focus on those opportunities and the SWOT analysis, they have a chance to really revitalize and save their company.